about the evolution of the automotive domain. So, how this evolution now is happened. We are going to understand about the history of the automotive industry, how fantastically it started with the complex style and spanning over 130 years of the innovation, and it drastically increases the economic development, and technology is adding more and more towards the vehicles. And then a journey from the earlier concept, like it is a self-powered vehicles, to the present day, the electric and autonomous cars have adding more and more for the society. So, like it was started in some 130 years ago. So the evolution is started with the major background is about it have the steam engines and the IC engines and electric engines, and it is a combination of the electric and the battery. Electric means the batteries. So here the steam and IC engines specifically the petrol and diesel comes. It will be a part of that, and some part of hydrogen and some part of the steam engines. There are many the background. It have many uh, automotive makers have been developed, like General Motors, Daimler, or the Bench. So there are many growth. It's drastically increased. So the agenda for this topic, to understand, we are going to discuss about the introduction of the automotive and the history of the automotive and types of the automotive types, and how these vehicles is driven, and for the passengers or the drivers, and what are the vehicle drive types and automotive domain modules in a need to understand, and engine vehicles. So how does all engine vehicle works, and what are the types of engines, and what are the key components of the engine, and we need to understand about the fundamental of electric vehicle and how all electrical works, and what are the key components required for the electric vehicle. So these are the few concepts we are going to understand, and we need to understand what are the types of electric vehicles we have. So from the agenda, the introduction of automotive. So the automotive specifically is derived from the Greek language. So it talks about the driving vehicles. So it will be the two-wheeler or three-wheeler or four-wheeler or eight-wheelers. So it will be a part of the driving vehicles. Like three-wheeler is the autos, two-wheeler will be the bikes, and four-wheeler will be the cars, and eight-wheelers will be having trucks and the buses. So all road driving vehicles will be a part of a automotive domain. So the main it is derived auto is a self, and motive means the motion. It is a self movement. So how the self movement will be accelerated? So it needs some power. So the self accelerated it was from batteries or part of it, engines. So something should be generated. So if engine is started, the acceleration you can give it. So that's how the automotive code is derived. So this is a small introduction about the automotive, and to begin to know about the history of it was started in early 17th centuries and 18th centuries. So there was steam vehicles. It was developed by the Nicholas Joseph, who built the first steam engine, and later it will be supported only the limited weight and inefficiency. Then later they come up with the engine. So IC engine, it is a internal combustion. So that was invented by the Franz Isaac. So he developed the hydrogen. So it is a combination of the internal combustion engine. And later in 1828, they started with the battery. So like Angios, Jerlich is and other developed the electric powered vehicles. And after that, most of the activities in between 1885 to 1886, the cars drastically they started as manufacturing. Like Charles Benz, they introduced the Benz patent motor wagon. So that is the first modern car. It was introduced with the internal combustion engine. Later, the Daimler, the Gottlieb Daimler and Wilhelm Maybach, so they built the first gasoline-powered motor vehicle, and later they consummated. They later they started designing different designs to attract the customers. And next, in the once the mass production is started in 1990s to 1930s, where many of the investors like Henry Ford, they started with the introducing of the new model, and with the they reduced the cost, and they made more offerable prices for the middle class peoples. And later, the automotive is boomed up in 1920s, where the major U.S. market U.S. countries they started investing more and more amount on the cars, like the Ford and General Motors and crystals. So they dominated. They made more in investing on the major brands, and car is a that time it will be symbolized as the freedom and prosperity who have the cars and where they can comfort journey can be happen. And they improved the technology and the designing of the different models towards the safety and secure comfort. So they added with the starter some of the cabins they added, and suspensions. So the features are added and more. And later in 1940 to 1960, many designs are established, and even the worldwide from the Russia or Europe and Japan, other part of countries, they started manufacturing the cars. So like Volkswagens and the Toyota, they played a major role for expanding of the automotive industry. And then Japan, so some of the vendors like Toyota, Honda, Nissan. So Nissan, they are built with the IC engines with the fuel, where the fuel consumption is adding more and more. And that's how the Japan has grown a good engines, and they attract the customers that time. So and like later they started working on some of the safety concerns, like the airbags and air conditioning, and the comfort related features they started, and some of the automatic transmission, the gear system, and power steering. So they introduced just slowly, like to make the journey safer for the drivers or passengers. And in 1970s to 1990, so in 1973, because of the many auto cars they added towards the pass towards the different areas. So then it leads in many concerns towards the pollution that it is impacting more, and towards the oil utilization is more. So then the efficiency of using these cars impacting it more towards the market. To think about that, the safety and environmental plays a major role. So, for safety concerns like seat belt airbags and emission control system, some of the features they started, and how it will be controlled from the system. So, means in the cars we have the controller specifically that will be controlled based upon the environment conditions. And they developed about some catalytic converters way to reduce the pollution, and it won't impact to the nature. So, and moreover, that globally, there are many industries with they merged and acquisitions happen towards the many companies like the Daimler, Chrysler, and Renault, Nissan. So, just some examples. And towards the controlling of all the sensors and um, integration of the safety concerns, all this should be controlled. The one master head, so the embedded system. So the microcontroller is added, and it gives a good performance, and where the problems can be identified quickly if any occurrence is created a problem. So that emerging of the electronics added more and more for the vehicles. So, and in 20th centuries, as we know, the automotive is moving to the electric vehicles, where Tesla Motors 2003, like they brought EVs into the mainstream with a long range and high performance electric cars, and where the government and the manufacturers all in different parts of the countries, they started coming up with the different norms and standards should be followed, and they come up with the subsidies for the EVs and to the main concern is about the environmental impact and the oil or the petrol or the diesel, which that it creates an environment issue. So to avoid all that, and the AV is playing major role, and the autonomous driving. So to support the driver for the autonomous activities, like for the driving or while driving on the highways or the cars or any part of the edges drivings or the speed control. So for this, they should be have some limitations. So the sensors and controllers will take a major part, and it will support the driver for driving to the specific location. And some extends cars like to drive within the limitations. Without driver, the car can be automatically drive. So that are the autonomous drivings is keep on working on some of the features, where it requires some sensors and cameras, and some of the artificial intelligence be added, means the coding is added more and more to develop those features. And that will be added a connected service like where it will enable more features to the safety of the software, and security of the software is needed when flashing or connecting the data. And next is mostly the it's a combination of the fuel, hydrogen fuel cells and hydrogen hybrid systems and renewable energy playing major role for future focus to work on the EV, and where the main intention is to reduce the pollution, and it will create many health issues. The market is completely switching how we are able to sustain with the electric vehicles, and that's how the automotive introduction history is started, and we came up with the automotive types. The automotive type, we have a different types, and it will be having a design based upon the design and the needed the technology that they have. It have variants varieties of, and the body style or the design or the propulsion system. So there are many classifications is derived. So based on the classification, the propulsion system, and the body style and the utility, whether it is a seven-seater or four-seater, so that will be playing a major role to based upon the user compatibility, the vehicle will be selected. And the measure, the automotive, typically it requires for anything to drive. The first part will be the wheels. The wheels will be the measure. The how these wheels will be power will be generated. It is from the propulsion system. So the propulsion system is the one which will be deliver the power to the wheels, and how this propulsion system will get the power. So it will be getting from the engine. So it will be a part of a combustion engine. So this combustion engine will transmit the power to the wheels. So you can see that major here major thing is like the electricity, means the blue one which it have the maybe here you have some charging socket, means it is a part of the EV charging. So this will be charged to the batteries. This is a battery. The battery will give some part of power to the transmission. So it is a higher combination of electric engine and the transmission part. So once the engine, combustion engine starts, and here the power will be generated, and the and we need for the engine, we need power supply. For that, we have a fuel tank. That fuel tank will pump the fuel to the engine. So and everything, it will be a part of a combination of the EV and the electric fuel. So how the propulsion system playing a major role. So based upon this classification, the passenger vehicles, so and even part of the trucks, some other commercial vehicles are working on the same principle. So the main classification of the passenger vehicles are so it focused on the most safety and comfort and performance. So there are some sedan, compact, and middle size and full size cars will be available. That is a Honda, Accord, or the Toyota. And some of the SUV is a sport utility vehicles. It have a high
higher ground clearance and off-road capability. So that example is the Toyota Fortuner and Ford Explorer. And next is the hatchback, so smaller cars with a rear access through which hatch doors like Honda I-20 and VW Polo are some of the small cars where it will be enable for the passengers to drive. Comfort and safety and performance will be the primary factor for transporting. And next thing is the crossover. It is a combination of both SUV and the hatchbacks. So typically, it was built on the some of the cars like Kia Seltons, Honda here. So these are the latest examples that how Seltons or the SUV or the hatchbacks or the crossover models will be available for the passenger vehicles. And next will be a part of the um, commercial vehicles. So it was built for the business, for transporting of the goods and services for the people for their activity. And it has some light commercial vehicles, LEVs, where it will pick up the trucks and deliver the um, deliver the products. So it will have some vans. We can say the most of the companies are the Ford Transistor, the Mahindra Bolero. So just the example, like, and heavy commercial vehicles like the trucks or the trailers and tankers and buses, as we know, that is a public transport and the private charters vehicles which we have. And next is a part of the special purpose vehicle. So these vehicles is built specifically for some of the emergency vehicles like ambulance or the fire trucks or the construction vehicles or the agricultural vehicles, and even for the hills climbing purpose. And how this propulsion system is working for these vehicles. So the internal engine uh, vehicle, so it is a part of the gasoline or the diesel. So that the petrol vehicles, it is preferred for light and smaller cars. Diesel vehicle, it is commonly used for the heavy vehicles due to the higher torque is required. So remember, like always, the petrol vehicle, it will be lightweight and the small and efficient for the driving, and it have low torque compared to the diesel. The diesel vehicles are commonly in heavy vehicles due to the higher torque. And electric vehicles, so it is operated to electric vehicles specifically talks about the motors and the batteries combination. So the electric batteries will be it have efficiency to drive the motors in different conditions. So the full electric with full rechargeable batteries like Tesla model or the Nissan Leaf. So these are some examples of the electric vehicle. And hybrid electric vehicle, it is a combination of the both the IC and electrical motor. So in the example, if you see, it has this is only the combination of the electrical vehicle, or where it have only the batteries pack will be there, and you have the motor. So the once this motor rotates, the wheels will start rotating. So here we don't have any propulsion system, but we for the engine, like it is a part of the IC engine. So we have the propulsion system. Propulsion system plays the major role for driving the wheels. But here, with the help of the motor, the vehicle will be driven. And next, we have a part of a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, PHEV, similar to the above one, the electric vehicle. So, but it can be recharged externally. Um, okay, so means with the help of the recharger, just we are plugging and we are utilizing it. And there are some alternative fuel cells, like we are going to understand in detail about all this. And now just we are how the propulsion system is classified and for which we have the propulsion system. So propulsion is something that wheels makes to drive. So that is about the propulsion. So this is a color indication here where you can see. And alternative fuels for the non-traditional fuels to reduce the emission, the vehicles are coming up with the LPG gases and CNG. CNG is the compressed natural gas, and LPG is the liquefied petroleum gas. So with the help of this, the vehicle we are able to drive the propulsion. And next we will go for the hydrogen fuel cells vehicles, FCEVs. So this hydrogen gas is used to generate the electricity. So the example is the Toyota. The Mirai is one example of the car. So this is about some examples how how the vehicles can drive the propulsion system. So how it will be classified in case of the trucks, like you have the plug-in and the batteries or the some gear traction should be there. So and these all four wheels should get some force. So the main player will be the front wheels. So there's front wheels will get the propulsion to drive into the certain conditions and a certain stage where it able to drive the torque. So and next, how this body design. So and one more factor is the propulsion is the one way the vehicle movement can be happen towards on the wheels. So now the looking activity towards the design on the body. So we cannot design the body how we like on the top. So the body style is which it makes the customers to attract, and that will be the first the sedan. So where it have a closed loop and separate trucks, and typically for the 4 to 5 passengers can sit, and hatchback it will be compatible with the rear hatch docks and folding rear seats. And SUV is the super utility vehicle where it is used for off-road and on-road vehicles. And Cubase, that is a two-door sporty car with a sleek design, and convertible car with a retractable roofs, and station wagons. So this is a roofline with more cargo space. So just for example about how the automotive vehicle types will be come up with the body styles. And next will be part of a driving modes. So driving modes, like we have a different typing of driving modes, like a two-wheeler driver, or means two-wheel drive means the front wheels will get a more power, and based upon that the vehicle will move. So the engine power is sent to the front wheels. So like commonly we are able to see in the sedan and hatchback, and some of the rear wheel drivers or WVC, the power it will send to the rear wheels. So commonly the sports and luxurious vehicles, uh, more force is needed from the back wheels. And next we have, this is the 2WD. We say the 2W, two-wheel drive, and four-wheel drive is the 4WD. So what it means, the power is it will be distributed for all four wheels. So whether it will be online or sorry, on road or off road, the vehicle should get the power equally. That will be raised, and all four wheels. The term AWD we can say, so continuously power to the all wheels. It's designed for on road and light off road conditions also, because the some four wheel power and AWD is it's similar to the both are same. There is no much concerns, but the differentiation is if it is a four wheeler, it will support, and here in case it will be the six wheel or eight wheel. So how that power will be distributed to all, it depends upon the vehicle condition. So just to differentiate this, like we have a 4D and AWD, all means it will be a six or four wheels. How that power will be distributed for all the vehicle. And next will be how this manufacture, how the design philosophy happen. So like first thing is the luxurious vehicle. So the premium material and advanced technology, high comfort, and Mercedes-Benz and BMW is the one who are working for this product. And sports car, it is the high performance and the speed focus is more. That is a Porsche 911, and Ferrari is the sports market cars, and economic cars are the budget friendly and fuel efficiency. So budget is the one, like we cannot go, it depends upon the budget. So if the budget is adding more and more because of the brand, and moreover the quality of the build, and next is a part of the comfort and safety that will be playing a major role if the budget is high. If it is a less, the comfort and luxury is also be limited for the some of the features. And other factor is the fuel efficiency. Fuel efficiency utilization is a very important for the vehicles. If the vehicle makes like for 1 liter, if it is gives 10 kilometers, it will be less if it is compared with the other vehicles. For 1 liter, if it is going with 20 kilometers per hour, means the efficiency is good for 1 liter 20 kilometer per hour, means the utilization of power is more for 10 kilometers. So that is also one more factor, like we need to see how the mileage and how it is and the engine is playing and supporting us for getting off the fuel consumption. And how the other features are added for the autonomous vehicle. So it is a the AI features are added, and the sensors will help us where the vehicle is traveling and how the direction is happening on the road. It will help the driver to make the journey smooth. So some of the OMO and Tesla that are a full self-driving vehicles, and some connected vehicles for real time. And I will the ECUs, the controllers which have in the cars, you will get it will get some updates every time, and it will use some security features also where to enable some sensors to work on time. And some of the smart car vehicles. Smart vehicles that means the small cars or the big cars, so whichever it may be, so it will be updates the software when it regards and the smart cars. So there are features are integrating in more and more to attract the customers and the passengers. So based upon that, the terrain like off-road vehicles. So mainly the sedan and hatchback are the one which help for the on-road vehicle. Off-road vehicles are equipped with the robust suspension is required and larger tires and higher ground clearance. And Jeep Wrangler is the one we can say as